Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Fantastic Craft. My name is Fawn. I'm excited that I finally decided to post a YouTube video, which I've been wanting to do for a while now, but I was just too intimidated to get started. So I made my 2022 New Year resolution to go for it. I'm a little bit nervous. However, I would love it if you can come along with me on my new journey. So on this first video, I'm going to set up a brand new Epson printer ET-3760. I will be converting it into a sublimation printer. I found this printer at my local Costco that I've been waiting for it to go on sale. It was $349.99, but it was on sale for $279.99. By the time I got to Costco, there were only 11 printers left, so I did not hesitate to get it. What a great way to start 2022, right? All right, let's open up this box. I'm super excited. It looks pretty well packed. I see 2 bottles of black ink, a bottle of yellow ink. That is a good start. Here's a power cord. I don't see any other ink. Let's completely pull this baby out. Maybe the rest of the inks are behind the printer? There it is. I see 3 bottles of ink behind the printer, 1 bottle of cyan, 1 bottle of magenta, and 1 bottle of black ink. That's a total of 3 black inks, including with this printer. That's pretty generous. Since I don't need the ink, I'm going to give them away to a friend. All right, let's remove the plastic. I see a quick instruction manual taped right in front of the printer for people like me who do not like to read the thick instruction manual. It's going to take me a few minutes to remove all the blue tapes that kept the printer in place. In the meantime, I want to mention how embarrassing it is to have such a messy workspace that everyone can see in the background of this video. I was just too excited about the new journey that I haven't completely set up my workspace yet. I hope to have it done soon. All right, let's get back to the most important thing here, unpacking and setting up the printer. I'm going to leave the plastic piece protector on the screen. It's a personal choice, you don't have to do it. There are more blue tapes beneath the lid. Just one more of the blue tape above the ink tank as well. Here's a paper tray and the manual feeder tray. This printer can print up to 8.5 by 11 sizes. Make sure you place the paper facing down for this printer. Here is an empty ink tank. On top of the ink tank, you can lift open this piece to access it. I apologize for the shaky camera. I'm holding my phone in one hand and trying to set this up with the other hand is a bit of a challenge. This is the ink I purchased from Amazon. I would include the link in the description below. I researched the different types of sublimation ink and found that Wolfgang, I hope I pronounced the name correctly. There were tons of great reviews on this particular ink. I believe you can use a different type of ink, but just make sure it is compatible with the Epson ET-3760. There are 4 bottles of ink, 1 yellow, 1 magenta, 1 cayenne, and 1 black ink. Packaging is pretty tight, so I'm going to use a box cutter to cut the packaging open. Just make sure you don't cut through the bottle. I'm going to line up the ink in order so that I would not confuse myself and accidentally put in the wrong color in the wrong tank. I'm facing my printer. I'm going to start from the right to left. The yellow ink will be the first, which is located in the far right of the tank that marked Y for yellow. Also, a pair of plastic gloves to protect your hands is included. Looking at the tip of this ink bottle, it doesn't look like a hole need to be punched out to release the ink. Before I pour in the ink, I need to get a better access to the ink tank. I use a bottle of ink included with the printer to keep the printer lid open up wider so it would be much easier for me to access the ink tank. I just open and pour in the yellow ink with no issue. I like that I did not have to squeeze it at all. Here you can see the ink filling up in the tank. Now that I complete filling up the yellow ink, I close the blue tab for the yellow. Just another simple step to keep me from putting in the wrong ink. Then I proceed with the Magenta ink. I have a harder time with Magenta ink. I had to pull it out and put it back on several times. I find that I have to squeeze the bottles a bit harder to release the ink, but it wasn't so bad. Okay, I see the Magenta ink is filling up nicely. I'm going to repeat the same process with the rest of the ink. Overall, it was pretty easy, except I had to squeeze 2 out of 4 bottles. The black ink tank was not full, and the sublimation ink bottle was already empty. There was still more ink on the rest of other colors. Now that all the ink are filled, double check and make sure all the blue tapes are tightly closed. I'm going to remove the ink bottle that kept the printer lid open. I close the lid and plug in a power cord and proceed to the next step. I turn it on, and first thing that pops up on the screen is asking if I have filled the ink tank. Just press OK. From this point on, it will prompt you to set up your printer. Allow yourself at least half an hour to follow the prompts on the screen to complete the printer setup. Now that my printer is set up, I'm going to give it a test print offline. Here is the last print. I had to do it at least 3 times until it came out with the line unbroken. If you don't see any broken line, it's good to go. So far, everything looks good. I'm going to print out a few samples to make the comparison. One is going to be the sublimation paper, and the other is regular copy paper. So here's the sublimation paper. I'm putting the paper facing down, and the logo is facing up into the paper tray. I purchased the A-Sub paper from Amazon for less than $20 for 100 pages. Also, 1 regular copy paper. Now that both papers are in the paper tray, I'm heading to my computer. Here, I'm going to randomly pick out a couple pictures to print out. The one in the red outfit is my fur baby, and the adorable puppy belongs to my neighbor. Looking at their face just brightened up my day. Remember, the sublimation ink is not made to print on regular copy paper. Also, keep it in mind that when you print on sublimation paper, it's going to look very light. But not to worry, it will get darker once you heat press to the blank item. It's also depend on the heat press and the amount of time under the press. You may have to adjust the temperature and play around with it until you get the correct setting for your project. With the A-Sub paper, I can see more definition and is a bit lighter than a regular paper. I think for future video, I'm going to purchase several different types and brands of sublimation paper to compare them. Here's a sample ornament that I did offline. It came out pretty clear. So overall, I like this printer. The prints came out pretty good. What I like the most is so compact and it works well for my tiny workspace. I placed it on top of my work table and it was perfect, and I still have plenty of room. Since it's pretty light and I can move it to a different location if I needed to, it's also pretty quiet the way it is. However, if you want it much quieter, you can go into the settings and set it to quiet mode. It prints pretty fast. The price is not too bad. By the way, I'm not getting paid to review this printer. I just want to provide the basic information to help you to make your decision if you're in the market for a sublimation printer. So it doesn't matter which printer you decide to go with. Just make sure it can be converted into a sublimation printer and the sublimation ink is compatible with the printer you're going with. Now that I got my sublimation printer all set up, I'm going to make a few videos on sublimation prints. In the next video, I'm going to show you how I create templates and the process of sublimation. So don't forget to click the notification bell. It will alert you when I post my next video. Please subscribe if you enjoy this video. Your support and positive comments on how to improve my video are greatly appreciated. Thank you for watching and have a great day.